Today we are talking about, um, Eightfold Path, which we normally talk about. But we're talking about how to prevent yourself from suffering. So, which consists of the Eightfold Path. That's how to prevent yourself from suffering, is to do that. And one of the first things is the right thought. So, when we have thoughts of sadness or future or past or about someone else or about what someone else might be thinking about us or any of those things, those thoughts will create suffering. No one can stop that, only you. You're the only person that can stop those thoughts. We all have thoughts. It's what you do with those thoughts. It's recognizing what that thought is. Is it a truth? And most of the time, the thoughts we're having about the future, the past, or what someone's thinking about us, or they're not true. They're not true. But we pretend that they're true, and then we make this whole story up with that one initial thought that came in. Then we create a whole scenario of things that could happen or might happen or should have happened, didn't happen, we wanted to happen, all this stuff, and none of it is a truth. Zero. None of it is a truth, because the truth is the only thing that's real is this moment in time, right now, this second. Now that last second is gone, and here we are in another second. And this second will never happen again. There's only one of those. Every second in time is just that, just a second in time, and it goes. And it's never to return again. What's happened in the past we can't go back, we can't change it, we can't fix it, we can't make it any different than what it was. But it is no longer. It was that, but it is no longer. So if you're in this present moment, that past makes no difference. It's already done. You can't change it, can't do anything about it. You can wish all you want to, but that wish is for nothing, because it's about something that no longer exists. Same thing with the future. You can think about the future. You can even think you know the future, but you don't. We all the time thinking about things. Okay, if I go here, this will happen, that'll happen, this, that. But you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. So you go through this whole scenario inside yourself, creating all this stuff that is unnecessary, and you miss this moment in time. This moment in time, you miss it because you're in here thinking all these thoughts that aren't true. And then when you come back, you're like, what just happened? What are y'all talking about? What happened? Wait, I missed that. Why'd you miss it? Because you were in your mind having a whole conversation about something that's not real. This is truth. This is what happens inside. But if you pay attention, know your thoughts, sati, right? Be mindful of what's going on in here. What are you talking about? I say that sometimes to y'all, what are you talking about? That's not a truth. Is that a truth? Look at it in truth. And 99% of the time, it's not a truth. 100% of the time, if you're in the future or the past. Sometimes we have things that happen in the now, right? We have something that happens that's not so great, and we feel bad about it in the now. But within a second, it's already done. We can keep thinking about it, or we can let it go. This is our life. This is how you change your life. You change your thought, you change your life. Wayne Dyer said that a long time ago. Change your thought, change your life. People don't understand what that means. That means stop thinking about the future. Stop thinking about the past. We're taught to think, oh, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What are you going to do when you grow up? We teach kids, little kids, how to worry about the future. We teach them that. And then we're like, I don't understand. Why is everybody so miserable? Right? Well, we've trained everybody to be miserable. Now I'm trying to teach y'all how not to be miserable. And it's not easy to think in this moment because you're so used to thinking about not this moment. You're so used to taking yourself into the past or the future and thinking about that and making a plan about that. You're not used to being in this present moment. But this present moment is so beautiful. It's so beautiful in this present moment. You see things like they truly are. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. You understand, oh, this moment is what I have. I've been given this moment in time. See, I went to see my dad, right? I spent time with him and his wife, right? We went to eat. We enjoyed our meal, right? We were in that moment in time because that's what I have. I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know about 10 years from now. I have no idea. I don't care about what happened yesterday. It's already done. Can't change whatever it was. So I like living here because this gives me everything I need right here. Right? It gives me peace. It gives me balance. It gives me truth. Everything I need is right in this moment in time. Everything I don't need is somewhere else. But everything I need is right here, right in this moment. Each moment is like that. If we recognize it, each moment is like that. There's never a moment in time where I don't have what I need. It's crazy to think about, isn't it? But it's also beautiful to think about. Each moment in time, you have exactly what you need. You're breathing, so you know you have air, right? Oh, that's beautiful. Some people aren't breathing in this second, right? They're not because they die, right? Everybody's going to die. We all are going to die. So, yeah. So there's some people who are already gone. They're not breathing anymore. But I am in this moment. I'm breathing. I appreciate that, right? Appreciate my heart beating, right? Thich Nhat Hanh said, your heart beat has beat every second of your life. All your life. Never stop beating. Can you imagine? Just working. Even when I'm sleeping, my heart is working. That's a beautiful thing. Your lungs too. We don't have to say, okay, you guys, I'm going to sleep. Y'all got to keep going for me, all right? We don't even have to say anything. It just does it automatically. That's so beautiful. There's so many things, so much beauty in this moment in time that we miss because we're so worried about something that's not even about us. Like we worry about things that have nothing to do with us. Absolutely zero. And we're all up in somebody else's business about it. And making ourselves worry and stress over nothing. It has nothing to do with us. And we're stressing over it. Well, that doesn't make good sense, does it? First of all, we can't do anything about it if it is outside of us. Nothing. Zero. Zip. We have zero control over that. We do, however, have control over ourselves, our thoughts, right? When a thought comes in, we have control over whether we want to keep it or let it go. We do have that power. We choose not to have that power. We choose to take that power and go, okay, I want to think about this for a while, right? I'm going to think about this. I'm going to marinate it. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll let it go. Maybe I'll keep it and suffer a little bit longer. I'm not sure. Right? This is what we say, even though we're not actually speaking it.
And sometimes Kathy actually says that.
Yeah.
I'll say, you need to let it go. No, I think I want to keep it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I want to suffer a little more, even, and it's like a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds so stupid to say it out loud, but I choose. I'll go, that's not a truth and it doesn't matter. Or does it?
Yeah.
Or does it? But it really doesn't, because it's not in this moment.
Right. That's exactly 100% right.
But I have a freaking conversation.
Yes,
but
you do. Well, and the fact that you have the conversation is progress.
Oh, yes.
Because there was a time that you did not have that conversation.
It just was constantly
going. Yes.
But
now you at least have a conversation and you're aware of it.
And I'm still choosing to suffer.
But that's okay, because one day you may choose not to. And this is the choice. It's that's why it's individual, up to each person to make their own choice.
And the big thing is that I know that I have a choice.
Yes.
Before I didn't know that I had a choice.
Right. Most of the time we go through our life not knowing that we don't have to suffer. We don't know that. We think that life is suffering. That's what life is. No, it is not. It has suffering in it, yes. Do you have to constantly suffer over that? No. You can make a choice to not do that, to have balance, to have an understanding of, there are things that happen in this world, but I don't have to grab it, attach to it, and make it myself just miserable over it. I don't have to do that. I can just see it for that. Whatever it is, just see it. That's what that is. And don't take it on. Don't attach to it. Don't bring it in. Don't make yourself suffer. Just have that balance of, okay, things happen that are classified as good. Things happen that are classified as bad. They even each other out. Let it go. Let it be. Let it be that. Because the more we try to make it our own, the more we suffer over it. It's not ours to carry. Let it go. I don't suffer over any of that stuff. I let it go. Why? It's not mine. Right? Even when they were cutting down the trees, I suffered over that for a minute. Right? I went out and told them about it too. But then I realized, I went back in and got composure of my head, and I'm like, that's not about me. And I told them that. I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's not about me. Right? It's about y'all, because y'all are going to have to pay for those trees coming down, right? Had nothing to do with me. But the thing of it is every action has a reaction. So what are you going to do? What are you going to make in your life? Because you're making your life, right? That's karma. Karma's a big deal. It's true, right? Because everything we do creates something in our life. So what do you want to create in your life? You want to create peace and harmony and balance? You want to create chaos? You want to create suffering? What is it that you are intending to create? Because that's what is going to happen. Your intentions make a difference in your life. And you have to pay attention to that. That's why it's important, the Eightfold Path, right? Right view, right thought, right livelihood, right action, right effort, right? right? Mindfulness. You have to keep these things going in your mind, because otherwise you're creating stuff and you're not being aware that you're creating, right? You're not aware. And when you're not aware, stuff comes in that isn't all that great. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. This is our life. This is, I mean, really, I'm speaking truth. This is, we have an opportunity to create or not create anything that we want. How do we do that? By our thoughts. You look at it, everything in your life that has happened in your life, you made a decision for that to happen. One way or another. Even if we don't want to take responsibility for it, which most of the time we don't want to take responsibility, but there was a decision made at some point that brought you down a path that led you right here. That's the truth. And the more you recognize this truth inside yourself, the easier it is in your life. The more balanced you become, because you know, you're aware, my thoughts are going to create something. What am I creating? Am I creating balance? Am I creating chaos? What am I creating in my life? Because my thoughts are bringing stuff in, right? When you're thinking about the future and how much you want this and that, you're creating suffering right there, right? It happens immediately. It's not like you have to wait any time for it to happen. It happens immediately. And then you're like, I don't know why I'm so upset. Yes, you do know why. Don't say, y'all know I don't like to hear I don't know, because you do know. But you're telling yourself, when you say I don't know, it's a lie that you're telling inside your heart. Inside your heart, you're telling your heart a lie, and your heart will not accept a lie. So then that creates the chaos and the suffering, because your heart knows the truth, but you're trying to tell a story. And it's like, no. Then you're fighting with yourself, inside yourself. You're fighting inside yourself. And that creates suffering. Y'all have witnessed it. Y'all have done it. Right? Everybody in this world has done it. But you don't have to continue to do it. You can make a choice at any moment in time. Any moment. And change it just like that. In that second, in that instant. Now, 2 seconds later, you might go back into suffering. But that's up to you. You can change it in this second and keep it going the next second and the next second and the next second. Do it a second at a time. You don't have to think long term. Who told you to do that? Whoever told you the lies that you've been living your entire life. You don't have to do that anymore. Do it 1 second at a time. In this moment in time, in this second, I'm going to be present right here. I'm not going to allow myself to wander into whatever it is that creates suffering. No, I'm going to be here. How do I do that? I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to feel that breath go in and feel it really inside of me. This is how you pay attention. This is how you're in this moment in time. I do it all the time. I'm in chaos around me all the time. All the time. There's chaos around me all the time. I could bring it in and just be in suffering, but I choose. I make a conscious choice. No, I'm not going to be in that suffering. People try to drag me in. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going there. Because I don't want to suffer. Peace is a good thing for me. It's great. It creates calm and keeps it going through my entire life. Everything I do, I can do it in calm and peace, right? Everything. How? Paying attention to my thoughts. That's where it starts, right? You pay attention to what you're thinking, and you pay attention to what you're speaking. Because what you're speaking inside yourself is going to determine whether you keep that thought or not. Right? This is truth. I'm speaking truth because this is the only way. Truth, it will set you free. It will set you free. But you have to speak it inside yourself. Right? What happens if you don't speak truth inside yourself?
You're lying brings chaos. If you're not loving yourself.
Right.
When you spoke about your heart, knowing when you're telling yourself a truth, it spoke to me about loving myself.
Yes.
That's what I'm forgiving myself for. You know, when I'm doing the Ho'oponopono, asking for forgiveness, is that there is that chaos within myself.
Yes.
And I know for me, like, based off our conversation last week, it was like, I keep on choosing not to do this, and it's like, why do I keep on, like, choosing to suffer? And it's like, okay, well, I don't love myself. And now I'm like, okay, but just be yourself. And I was like, well, I don't know how to be myself. So it's like really breaking it down into instead of thinking of it like as a big picture, like I know you say be aware of your thoughts and everything like that. It's like, okay, when I become aware of, thank you.
But
like, thank you guys. It's like it's the small decisions in which you choose, like you change those habits.
Yes.
Where you start choosing to love yourself, and then by doing that, you're choosing not to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it was really the small decisions, like what do I want for dinner?
Mm-hmm.
What do I really want to wear today? Like,
yeah.
Like what do I truly want to do with my time? And now
you're learning
I'm
that.
learning it, yeah. And this week I got to practice that, and it was weird because I found myself just like for dinner, I would just stand in front of my pantry and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just wait until I make a decision. And I just kind of, a lot of time I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm just here waiting to make that decision. I'm like, I wasn't used to that. Like just, I don't know, just quiet with myself.
Yes, it takes practice.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah, and like this week I had a sick day because my stomach was upset with some of the food I had chosen to eat. And I was like, okay, that's okay. And it was like, I'm going to choose to, like, I work. And because I work, I get sick leave. I can use my sick leave when I'm sick. And that's okay. You can use this opportunity and not feel guilty about it. And I was like, okay. I truly wanted to stay home because I was in the bathroom the whole day. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Instead of suffering at work, I chose to go home and not suffer, if that makes sense. But it was weird because I was like, I can make this decision for myself, but I've avoided doing it for almost 26 years.
Right.
And it feels awkward, and I feel very like a
but
kid
you're
learning to walk.
Hey. But you're learning.
Yeah.
And that's good. So we were talking about self-love, how to let yourself be Ginger. How to let yourself about tomorrow or about yesterday or about any of the other things that we may go down. Just allowing ourselves to be in this present moment at this present time. And knowing that there's no suffering here in this second, in this present time, we are at peace. And the more you practice that, the more you will be at peace. But it takes practice, right? It takes us practicing every single day of our life. being in this moment in time, not anywhere else. When you're in your mind, even though you're here, when you're in your mind and you're not here in this present moment, you miss whatever it is happening in this present moment. And it will never come back again. This is it. You get one shot at this moment in time. Then when it's gone, let it go. Because you cannot take it back. You can't bring it back. You can't make it happen again. No matter how much you like something, it's going to leave. It's going to go. It always does. So learning to just let things go and flow just like that. They're flowing, they're in, they're coming in, they're going out. They're coming in, they're going out with everything in your life. That's what happens. And the more you recognize that and just let it flow, let it go, let it be. They used to say that all the time in Thailand. Let it go, let it be. Why? Because it's not yours to cling to. You have this second in time. That's all you have. That's it. Then the next second, then the next second. As long as you're breathing, you usually have another second in time. But you never have the same second in time. It's never the same. So if you're present in this moment, you're actually enjoying this moment, what you're getting here and now. And here and now, you have everything you need. You're breathing, you're able to drink, you're here, you're now, you have everything you need. But we normally spend this moment wishing for something else, either tomorrow or yesterday. Let that go. Be in this present. Be thankful for this present. Be thankful for the breathing that you can do in this present. Just be in this. And this will bring such peace to you. Like I said, I can't make people be in this moment. I can't make people continue to monitor their own thoughts, know what those thoughts are, know whether they're going to create suffering, decide whether you're going to take it and let that suffering become part of you or let it go and let it not be part of you. These are determined by you. And the more you think about it and the more you're aware of this moment in time and what am I thinking in this moment in time, the more peace you'll have. But it takes practice. We normally don't practice at it because we get caught up in the world. And then we're not doing the practice that we know is going to create balance and not bring suffering. We get caught up in the every day, what's going on, right? Happens to all of us until we choose not to let it happen to all of us. We have to make that decision. And I try hard to help each one in making that decision, but I can't make it for anyone. I can only make it for myself. I can only determine, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to think about this or am I going to let it go? It's not that thoughts don't come. Thoughts come. I just choose not to keep them. That's the difference. A thought comes in, I can either go, okay, yeah, that's going to make me sad. Ooh, no, I don't want that one. Right? I mean, immediately. When a thought comes in, you know whether it's going to bring you peace or whether it's going to make you upset. You know it without a doubt. Whether you choose to keep it or not is your choice. And this is how, if you pay attention, right? If you're mindful of your thoughts, this is how you do it. And you do it on a regular basis. That's why when we do meditation, it's not to have complete silence. Because most of the time your mind is chattering when you're in meditation. it's to be able to remind yourself to monitor those thoughts, right? Because your mind isn't going to be quiet when everything else is quiet. Your mind's going to be like, oh, yeah, here we go, right? This is my opportunity. And so let's see what I can throw in there, and let's see what they're going to keep. So this is your time to practice at monitoring your thoughts. It's your practice time. See, most of the time we think, oh, I got to sit, I got to quiet my mind, I got to be quiet, I got to, Kathy at one point said, I'm just so tired of the quiet. Remember, we were doing a lot of meditation. I got to give it to her. She did it, but she was in suffering doing it. And the reason she was in suffering doing it is because she wasn't being in the present. She was wishing for something else. Is people talking on there?
I don't know what they're saying. It looks as though it's in a different language. The first one's in Russian. The second one looks like it's either Finnish or Russian.
Okay, so I guess somebody from Russia's on.
3 different people.
Okay.
Russia.
So here we have it. If we know these things, we can change our thoughts, change the way we think. We're going to change our lives. This is it. This is the bottom line. And we tell ourselves that it's hard. Okay. I hear that a lot. It's hard. I wish I didn't know what I know, because now I can't undo it. Right. But you have an opportunity inside yourself that a lot of people don't have. A lot of people don't have this opportunity because they don't know that they don't have to suffer. They can let it go. They've never been taught how. It's a beautiful thing to know that you don't have to suffer every day of your life. Wow. I didn't know that for a long time in my life. But now I know it. I take full advantage of it, right? I'm like, okay, I know how now. But everything in my life led me here. Like, I'm not sorry one thing happened in my life, because it led me here. It was teaching me. It was showing me. It was little by little showing. And so I have an understanding now because I was taught, right? I was taught that I don't have to suffer. I was taught how not to suffer. I paid attention. Then I did it myself. But if we don't do it ourselves, nobody can do it for us. And this is huge because we are making decisions every day about our own life. And most of the time we're not paying attention. We're not paying attention because so many other things are going on around in this world that we're paying attention to everything outside of us and not inside of us. This is how you have to do it in order to be at peace. You don't have to do it, but if you want peace, this will bring you peace. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to tell yourself the truth about what you're doing. Am I allowing these thoughts to come in? Am I attaching to it? Am I making stories out of these thoughts? This is the truth. This is what happens. We have a thought, we bring it in, we attach to it, then we create things, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, I'm suffering, but I don't know why I'm suffering. You do know why you're suffering. It started with a thought. The thought you had, that you thought about. Like, someone else isn't doing that to you. Right? No one else is there in your mind doing it. You are doing it. So the minute you start taking responsibility for that inside yourself, oh yes, I had that thought. See, the truth is going to set you free. If you tell yourself, I had that thought, but I can change it right this second. Let me change it. Right? Don't be down on yourself for having the thought. That was practice. You're practicing, right? Everything you do is practice. So you're practicing. Don't be down on yourself because I had the thought. Go, okay, here's my opportunity to change my thought. Or you can be down on yourself, but that won't do anything. But if you say, this is my opportunity to change the thought and actually change the thought, you will see how quickly the peace comes to you. It comes quick because that's how it works. It's instantaneous. Like the second you change that thought, instantly your mind goes to something new. Instantly. It's not like, oh, let me wait. When is this thought going to go away? The minute you take your mind and change the thought, that old thought goes away. And you have this new one. You can choose to keep this new one or trade it in for a different one, right? And it all depends on what you want. You know, do you want to suffer? Do you want to stay in this? Or do you want to let go? Then you can start thinking of things to be thankful for, right? My lungs are continuing to breathe for me. My heart is continuing to beat for me, right? I still am able to think. Even though this thinking is causing me suffering sometimes, right? I can let it go and I'm able to make that decision. Those are beautiful things. I have the knowledge to make that decision, right? Because before you didn't have that knowledge. Now you have the knowledge, you can make that decision, which if you make that decision, it becomes wisdom. And the more of those decisions to let things go and be in this present moment, the more of that you do, the wiser you become. And pretty soon you don't have to even think of it because it's automatic. It's just like the suffering was automatic. This will become automatic. But you have to practice it just like you've practiced the suffering. You've practiced the suffering your entire life. That's a true statement. So now you can practice not suffering. And the more you do that, it will become the habit instead of the suffering, right? This is how it works. But you have to make the effort, right? You have to make that effort. Where are you, right? Right there. It's right there. These are the things, these are the first things Master Boomni gave me, right? Satchitam, metatam, kantitam, wadiyatam, obekatam. Truth. So important inside yourself, telling the truth. Being loving to yourself. Being patient with yourself. Giving the effort, right? And once you do one, the next one follows. Once you're absolutely truthful with yourself, kindness comes. Loving kindness comes because it's like a weight lifted off your shoulder. Oh yeah, this is good. And then you start to be kind. And then your patience will come because you're being kind to yourself. See, when we're not kind to ourselves, we don't have patience. We're just being mean to ourselves. Don't be mean, be kind. Let that come in, right? Give that the effort. It has to be an effort. It can't be, halfway, right? It can't be halfway. You have got to give it the effort. And when you do, you will create ubeka, which is balance inside yourself. And that peace will come over you. And you will be able to sit in the bliss of non-suffering. It's really very beautiful. I'm getting stared at. It's like your minds are going right now. There's thoughts going in everyone, right? So let's hear the thoughts.
I'm stuck on allow the existence occurrence without interference. And I'm thinking, that's why you're candy.
Because you got to allow things just to happen without you trying to make it yours. Mm-hmm.
I know for me, when you said effort, I was like, there's a lot of places in my life in the past I haven't put effort in, and I've always wondered why I never succeeded in those endeavors. And I was like, well, I didn't put in the effort to do it. So looking at the choices I've made previously, how can I expect the decision not to suffer to be any different if I don't put that effort in? Because clearly if I don't put the effort in, I'm not going to succeed in what I do. So I was like, okay, so there has to be that effort.
Yes. How about you?
And I'm thinking it is just what it said when I saw on top, make it easy. We make it hard when it is just simple. It's easy. If you just be truthful, then like you said, the next thing will come is
Yes,
love and kindness. We make it hard.
Yes.
It's right there, because I was looking at the truth, patient, love,
Yes.
kind, and then I looked up and it's like easy, and I was like, just saying, it is.
Yes. It's easy if we do it.
If we do it, we make it hard.
Yes, we do. How about you, V? What you thinking?
Wishing. I was like, oh, I remember that feeling of balance a couple times and wishing that I was feeling that again.
So there's only one way to feel that. Okay. There's only one way to get balance. There's not a multitude of ways, right? There's a path. It's a straight path, really. It's just, it is that. And like I said, make it easy. It is easy. Truth, being truthful inside yourself. We can wish for things, but wishing doesn't do anything. We have to actually act on it. We have to give it an effort. If our effort is constantly on something that's making us suffer, we're going to suffer. If our effort is constantly on something that doesn't make us suffer, we're not going to suffer. If we're always telling ourselves the truth about what we're thinking, about the truth about everything, just straight up truth, you will not suffer over that. Even if you did something that's embarrassing, okay? We've all done things that are embarrassing, right? There's not a person alive that hasn't done something that they're not embarrassed about. You speak the truth about it, it sets you free. It's not like you have to, then you're not hiding anything. You're not, okay, I don't want them to know who I really am. You're like, this is me. This is what happened. This is what I did. Am I happy about that? Probably not, but it's a truth. That's actually what I did. So, all I can say is sorry. If it's something you need to be sorry about, if it's something you don't need to be sorry about, that's just the truth, right? That's it.
I get caught up with like a lot, and you mentioned this earlier with like not the truth, but like part of the truth.
There is no part of truth.
Well, like,
if you are telling yourself part of a truth, you're lying to yourself.
right.
Period. That is it. If you're telling yourself part of a truth, you're actually lying to yourself, because that other half is not a truth. Do you understand that? If it's only partly true, that means the other half of it is a lie.
Yeah.
And so what you're actually doing is telling yourself a soft lie so that you can feel okay about it.
Right.
Which is a complete lie. But you're just trying to make yourself feel better about it. And it never works.
And then I have to tell myself the reason I'm trying to make myself feel better is my ego. And I'm trying to lose my ego, in
Yes.
this conversation. I'm sure I'm not alone in the
No,
conversation.
you're not alone.
And then so you go, and it's like, okay, today, oh, that's my ego again. Oh, it's my ego again. And
Mhm.
it's that truth.
Yes.
And then then you've given us so many pearls of wisdom. You'll say, if you have an emotion about it, it's your ego. So if I feel sad about it, then I'm going, okay, so this is ego here. Or, angry. Why am I angry today?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the dog looking at me, making me angry? It's really not the dog.
No,
right?
it's not the
dog.
That's right.
Because this one dog makes me very angry all the time. But it's like, so why am I angry at him? Really it is.
Because
So
you're angry inside with
Exactly.
yourself.
And I'm like, so I look at Tommy, the deaf, blind dog that shits everywhere, and I'll say, so what is it about Tommy that is you? And then I'm like, oh, I hate looking at Tommy and me together, but because he is me and I am him,
Right,
right?
right.
Whether it's the dog or whether it's Vanessa,
Right.
we're all the same
Yeah.
thing. And and so it's like, oh, okay. So then instead of maybe pushing the dog, I pick him up and I love him and I take him outside,
Yes.
because by showing loving kindness to him,
You're showing
showing
it to
loving
them.
kindness to Kathy.
Yeah.
And so goes the story from the dog to the husband, to the teacher, to the sister, to the
Yes.
daughter,
Yes. Well, it's
But
good.
it's good. It's good.
It's good because you're working on it. You see,
Yes.
it's a constant work on.
And what you're telling me, it's truth comes or peace comes, but I'm always having to look at what is truth.
Yes.
And see, that is something it's that mentality that I have arrived,
Mm-hmm.
that I keep looking for, the easy path.
Same, and I'm just in the same place where it's like, I'm like, this is tiring. I feel like I like it's a lot of effort. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to do something my entire life, so why not do this?
But it's tiring.
Because it's new.
Here's the thing. It's tiring because you're actually not doing it. In your mind, you have conversations, right?
Mhm.
You're having conversations, but you're not doing it. You're not actually acting on those
So
conversations.
it's philosophy, it's not action.
Yes. You have got to say to yourself and then do the action. Whatever that may be, you're making the decision whether you're going to suffer or not suffer. So if it's a thought you're having, which everything comes from a thought, right? There's nothing that happens that doesn't come from a thought first. So you have a thought. So you take that thought and you say, okay, last time I had this thought, right? I suffered for 3 days over this very thing that is making me suffer right now. So the truth is that isn't real. Right? That's number one. The truth is, whatever this is that I'm talking to myself about that's creating suffering, that's not real because that is actually not happening in this moment in time. Right? The only thing happening in this moment in time is I'm breathing and I'm having this conversation with myself. Right? So what conversation do I really want to have with myself? Because I know that I do not want to suffer, right? So you have to make a conscious choice to change your thought. This thought, I'm going to let go. But I'm going to keep this one right here because this is gratitude. This is gratitude towards my heart that's still beating, that beats every minute of every second of every day. My lungs that are filled with this air that keeps me alive. This is actually what's going on right here in this moment. And this is a beautiful space. And then all of a sudden, instead of feeling sorry for yourself and angry and frustrated, you start to feel that peace because you have made a conscious choice Not to just think about the thought you're having, but to actually act by either letting this thought go or bringing this thought in. And you are the one that is in the driver's seat. We like to blame it on something else, right? We like to say, well, if this was this, then I would be this, right? If I could just change this, then I would be happy. It will never happen because happiness does not come from outside of you. Happiness comes from inside, in your heart, in the loving kindness that is there. You have to find it in there. I can tell you all day long you're filled with loving kindness, but if you don't believe me, it doesn't do any good. Does zero, right? You have to believe it inside yourself. You have to find that love inside your heart for yourself first. After that, everything starts to fall into place. Unless you go back to the suffering. Then you get that. You're getting whatever it is you're putting the effort into. This is a truth. Whatever effort you're giving, that's what you're getting. So if you are truly putting an effort into non-suffering, you're not going to suffer. But if you're truly not putting the effort in and you're just saying to yourself, oh, I am doing that, but you're really not doing it, you're going to suffer. Because you're not telling yourself a truth. Half truth, whole truth, you got to decide. But a half truth is not a truth inside yourself. And you need to recognize that inside yourself, or else you're telling yourself these stories that's creating suffering. It's really important to be completely 100% honest with yourself. And anything you speak outside of yourself, you're also speaking to yourself. So know that. If you're speaking it outside, you're speaking it inside. So what are you speaking? And allow yourself to speak some peace inside, some loving kindness inside. Don't take yourself down these hard roads. It's not necessary. It is easy. I promise you it's easy. Y'all are making it very difficult for yourself because you're choosing to bring those thoughts in that create the suffering. And then we have minds thinking. Yes? What you thinking, Kathy?
I'm thinking about what you said about what I speak. I need to watch what I'm saying outside my mouth because that's what's inside my soul. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Yes.
And sometimes I say things and I go, ooh, it's like I see, it's like,
You're like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. It came out and here it is.
or it comes out and it's ugly.
Yes.
You know, it's like a color that's ugly and I can almost feel it coming out of me,
Yes.
right?
Because you're angry inside.
Yeah.
But you can let that go.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can let it go. All of it. All of it can be let go. Because what is it doing for you? Nothing. It's not doing anything. It's just creating this inside yourself. And honestly, if you practice at this, it will become second nature. It will be, we practice the suffering. That's why we're so good at it. Right? I mean, all your life you've practiced suffering and we got really good at it. Let's get good at this because this can change the world. And that's a true statement. Imagine if everybody in the world had loving kindness in their heart and just portrayed that out. That would be a beautiful thing, right? I mean, when you're in the room with someone who just brings forth a lot of love, doesn't it feel good? Isn't it an amazing thing? So this is the way the world could be. It's not a fantasy. It really could be like that. But everybody individually has to make the choice to say, this is what I want to do inside myself. And then the world starts to become a beautiful place. You know, all the great masters know it. That's why they live like they do. That's why they keep, trying to tell everybody and giving it, and you can feel it in them. Thich Nhat Hanh, he's dead, but you can still feel it when you hear his voice, right? You can still feel it because that love is just still in the air. It's still here. His body's gone, and that's with everybody that does it inside themselves. It's really a beautiful thing. And we have to practice that in order for it to happen. But the more we practice it, the more it becomes part of us. And then we don't have to really think of it because it's just automatic. It becomes our habit of being kind inside ourselves. That's a true statement. That's really what happened. But you have to do it. You have to practice, 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 practice. So what? I practiced yesterday. I don't want to practice today. Well, you don't want to practice today, If you're not practicing that, you're practicing the other. What is it that you want to get good at? It's like that with anything in your life. Anything you want to be good at, you got to practice it, right? We didn't know how to walk. We got good at walking. Now we walk without even thinking about it, right? But when we were little learning how, we didn't know how. We fell a bunch of times, right? All the time, fell. Sometimes cracked our head open. Really, this is truth. This is what happened. And then one day we learned to walk, and we can walk without even thinking about it. We don't think, unless we're doing walking meditation, we don't think, I'm going to pick up my right foot and place it over here. We don't think about that. We just walk. Because we know how to walk now. We practiced it so much, it's nature to us, right? We already know how to do it. It's the same thing with this. The more you practice it, the more you have loving kindness in your heart. The more you feel it inside. The more you don't even have to think about it because it's just there and it's just blossoming and growing. But if you never practice it, how are you going to get good at it? We don't get good at anything by watching somebody else do it. Right? We can watch them. I can watch gymnastics all day long, right? But I can't do those backflips and all that stuff. I can't do it. I suppose if I had practiced from when I was little, I'd be able to do it. But I've never done it. I don't know how to do it. And I don't practice it. So I'll never know how to do it because I don't practice. Right? That's the way it is with this. It's like anything else. You practice it, it'll become second nature. You don't practice it, it's not. And you'll suffer because that's what you do when you don't practice being kind to yourself. This is life. This is the way this world is. And the more we understand about that, and the more we try to practice at being at peace inside ourselves by recognizing the thoughts that create suffering and letting them go and bringing in the thoughts that don't create suffering. Breathing. Breathing has never created suffering, right? So if you don't want to suffer, take a breath and be aware of your breath. Let it flow through your body. Feel it. When you're breathing, you're not thinking of that other thing. These are tools that you need to use in your little tool bag. There's so many tools you have. So many. But they're like anything else. If you just leave them and never use them, nothing happens. But the more you use, the better you get at this. And then before you know it, it's just second nature. You're not even thinking. You don't even think about, I want. You think about, oh, this is a beautiful place to be. No suffering here. This is how it works. And I know I've said it before, but I'm saying it more, because if we know this and if we do it, our lives will change in ways you can only imagine. You all have seen my life. You've witnessed it. But you've only watched it. Now it's time for you to do it. This is the way it is. I don't know what time it is. 8 o'clock. Y'all want to do a meditation? All right. What's that say?
It's just one more person.
It's an FYI, for your information. You were something.
What is that name?
Something.
It's an Abigail Marshall.
Okay.
I'll
So
have to look that up.
we're going to do a meditation. So I want you to just listen, just breathe and listen to this bell. Here we go. Ready? Take a breath. Breathing in and out. Just allow yourself to listen to the sound. How it comes and goes, fades away. Breathing in and out, letting it go. Take a breath in, let it out. A breath in, let it out. One more time, breath in, let it out. Metta ceto imutiya, karuna ceto imutiya, mudita ceto imutiya, ubeka ceto imutiya. May everyone have peace, loving kindness in their heart, patience, effort, and may it bring balance to you. Sad too. Thanks everyone for joining, and we may see you next week. We don't know.